Mayor Tesh, at this point, if I want to know if you're going to provide me an opportunity to defend myself after the council concludes its upcoming discussion. And I know exactly what I'm being accused of. And if not, I would like to make a statement now. Are you going to provide me that opportunity? I also wish to inform you that I reserve my right under the Open Meetings Act and Section 6C of my contract to move to a closed session before vote to terminate me as held. Section 6C of my contract states, and I quote, "The employee shall be entitled to discuss a proposed termination with the City Council in closed session as permitted by the Open Meetings Act prior to a final determination."
That's what I just asked you, Doug.
Mayor Tesh, my intention is I would like to see the public discussion concluded, and I would like to respond to whatever charges are made against me, and then I would like to recess into closed session.
Is there a motion for discussion?
I'll support discussion, council discussion.
Is there anything anybody wants to say? Otherwise,
Yes, I have plenty to say before we vote on that.
we're going into closed session.
No, we're not going
No,
into
we are
closed
not.
session.
Oh, we're not.
We're not going into closed session.
Just to clarify, the Open Meetings Act says that all meetings are to be held in open session unless you fall into one of the few exceptions. And one of those exceptions would qualify tonight, but that has to be at the choice of the individual who's being reviewed.
That is my right.
At this point, he has a right at any time to say in or out, essentially. So he's exercising his right to have this discussion in an open session, and then at a later time, he would go into closed session. We're clear on the Open Meetings Act. That's all I wanted to clear.
That is what I am requesting.
So is it my understanding we've had a motion to discuss continuing with our meeting tonight and the city manager's staff performance? Okay, so then we have discussion before we vote that that's what we're going to do. And if I could start the discussion, I'd like to ask Eileen. Eileen, on Friday you met with Artie Bryson regarding Doug Alexander, but not with Doug. Why did you not meet with Doug first?
No comment.
Okay, well, what I did is I personally called Artie Bryson and asked him what you talked about. And Artie Bryson told me that you told him that you were firing Doug and that you wanted to start a different relationship with Clay Township. I'd like to know if you'd explain what you mean by a different type of relationship with Clay Township.
I have no comment.
How in the world are you going to no comment a discussion and expect us to vote on firing a man that you won't comment on? You know, Artie Bryson called me back quicker than you call me back. In fact, you don't call me back when I ask you a question. I'd like the attorney in your free time to start looking into this no comment thing during a meeting to other council people. Do I have to FOIA this? I would like you to respond.
In discussions between individual council members, there's no requirement that somebody respond to the question. I mean, the act of asking a question can be very effective, but there's no requirement that somebody respond. They're not under oath.
Okay. Irene, you went with Eileen. I'll ask you the same questions. Okay. You called the MERS rep without notifying Councilor Doug. Why did you do this without council approval, or at least notifying council that you plan on taking it yourself. That's Doug's job. We're supposed to notify Doug and say, Doug, we have a question about MERS. Can you bring MERS back here? Okay, so you acted without council's approval. Why did you act without council's approval?
No comment.
Now, we're talking about Doug and Doug's job performance, okay? And I'm going to read a quote from the Detroit Detroit Free Press from 2004, okay? It spoke of your personal bankruptcy, Eileen, of you being sued for 2 clients for $400,000 and you losing 2 cases where women lost custody of their children. You then lost your law license because you violated a court order regarding your pension to pay a creditor when you were running for office for L. Brooks Patterson's seat, and you stated, if voters want someone perfect, there are not many people who qualified. I know Doug's not perfect, but I doggone well know he's qualified. Would you like to comment on that?
No comment.
I've asked you on several occasions, now when Irene was mayor, Doug, Irene, and Cindy would meet every Tuesday before a meeting at breakfast and discuss any issues. You won't do that. In fact, you have not met with the man since the first week of you being mayor in November. More than that, you've met with Artie Bryson more than you've met with Doug Alexander. I find it very appalling and disappointing, and this is nothing except personal vendetta against Doug, who has brought more things to Algonac. I've lived here for 22 years. It took forever to get anything done with that Lions Park. I know Doug's tenacity, nothing with that seawall. He dug through papers forever finding how he could get $1 million out of the Coast Guard. How does a leader not talk to people? And on top of this, Cindy, our clerk, goes on vacation, gets off the plane in Hawaii. She's also a hired at-will employee who can lose her job if another city manager comes in here. Because we don't know anything going on, and we can't get a call back, Cindy lands in Hawaii with a message that we might fire her boss. And she's worried. So her whole vacation in Hawaii is screwed over because she's worried about losing her job. Artie Bryson knows at 9:30 in the morning that you want to fire Doug. I'm out till 4 o'clock on an email. On top of that, that email tells me, because I said, who is we calling a special meeting? The majority of council. Did you meet with the majority of council to decide that? And if that's no comment, I'd like the attorney to see if that's a violation of the Open Meetings Act, that we have 4 people meeting without the other 3.
It is a violation.
I know it is.
It's true that 3 of you can meet at any one time on city business. However, the charter does say that the mayor has the prerogative to call a special meeting on her own, or it takes 2 council people.
That's correct. But the email said the majority of council. It did not say I decided. It said the majority of council. And what I'd like to know is, did you have a meeting?
No comment.
That's a violation of the Open Meetings Act.
It's past reason.
I would like to know, we're here to talk about the job performance. What is your problem with the job performance? I mean, we need to find out why we're here. Why are you wanting to fire him? Somebody needs to start talking.
You got 6 reasons why you should stay. You don't have one way to go.
No comment.
I had a number of things I had that I could say, but I will state one thing, and that is I've carried a number of things to each meeting. One thing that hasn't been mentioned that I carry is a petition that is signed by our mayor and her husband to fire our city manager and let the attorney go because of one issue between neighbors. On the petition, it says neighbors, plural. Bad neighbors is stated that she signed. In actuality, the letter from our attorney said bad neighbor situation, singular, not plural, not including a misstatement by our attorney or an action inappropriate by our attorney. And I carried that because before the election, she signed it to fire him.
Wow. Wow.
It's right in here.
Wow.
It was also signed by Cindy Babbitt, who works for Artie Rice.
Wow.
Any more discussion?
You guys need to start telling us why you want to fire Doug.
Is there any more discussion?
Yeah, any discussion. That would be the discussion.
We're going to adjourn?
You have to have a vote on, are we gonna proceed with this first? And then Doug wants it to be open meeting. So you're gonna have to tell everybody why you wanna fire Doug.
We want to
So
know.
first, you have to vote.
The first, Mayor Tesh and council members, the first thing I requested was an opportunity to defend myself against some accusations that are made against me, but evidently there are no accusations against me, only the citizens of Algonac that seem to think I'm doing a good job. So I guess there's really no point in my making a presentation defending myself because there's nothing I'm being accused of.
Before we take a vote on the termination of your contract, did you want to have a closed session?
Yes.
How can you terminate this contract?
We are not taking a vote right now for his termination. We are taking a vote to discuss it. That's the motion that was made.
She's the mayor, she don't even know what's going on.
I'd ask for a roll call vote so it can be on a record how each person voted.
To discuss?
Yeah, to end this discussion and discuss, to end this discussion and then to go into somebody making a motion to discuss his termination.
No, that, I'm sorry, that, as the attorney explained, I'm sorry, Mr. Emmis, that's not exactly correct. Before you take a vote for termination, I have the opportunity to go into closed session, and that is what I have asked to do. If we come out of closed session, then the council can take the vote at that time. But I think it's very important we go into closed session because I have things to share with the four of you that I think you want to hear.
Who's going out for coffee?
You have to go to end the discussion.
You want to make a
Right.
motion?
Procedurally, before you go into closed session, you need a motion and a second to go into closed session.
Right.
You have to state the reason.
We have to vote to close this
To close
discussion.
discussion.
Is there a motion to close the discussion?
That's all part of it. I'd like a roll call vote, please.
Ernie Bird,
Yes.
Ray Martin,
Yes.
Al Meldrum,
Yes.
Joe Nugent,
Yes.
Mark Thompson,
Yes.
Mayor Tash.